Hatsune Miku. Stage.
Oh, you're welcome.
So, rhythm games. A genre I'm not too into, to be honest, for reasons you'll see later. But there's a couple of these that I really have enjoyed over the years. Despite all that, stepping into this game, I knew I was heading into very new territory here. Like, at least with other rhythm games I've enjoyed, they're just easy to pick up and understand with no knowledge required. But with this, I barely even know what a Vocaloid is. Besides Vocaloids basically being like digital singing, and links about the shitty AI covers you see played on YouTube, by the way, my god. All I know is that it's the funny green haired girl, Hatsune Mike, I think. I forget her name a lot, oopsie. And the fact that I heard a lot of these Vocaloid songs in Flipnote, by the way, which is like, you know, the shitty audio that really helped these songs to me, at least back in the day. Either way, basically not a lot to work off of in terms of my knowledge, but it should be fun heading to uncharted territory, right? Well, it's a mobile gacha game, so no. Upon booting the game for the first time, you're face to face with Mike herself, who does not know the concept of personal space. Like, geez girl, back it up a little. Anyway, she explains the whole concept of a sekai to us, which is basically worlds, I think. I'm just gonna call them worlds because calling them sekai feels like a one-way ticket into getting shoved into the lockers. Anyways, after downloading 3 gigs of data and staring at a screen full of characters I know nothing about because mobile game, you're thrust into a story about how one of the bands got together. And well, it's not a bad story, it's just I don't really care for it because I'm not really invested in these characters. If I was invested in these characters more, then I probably would, but as far as I'm concerned, these stories just force you to download more stuff, and this iPad only has 64 gigs of storage into it, so as far as I'm concerned, no thanks. At least there's an option to knock down the voices though, saves me from humiliation. With all that aside, and after being bombarded by a million tutorials, what about that gameplay? I should play the piano again. If you've ever seen her play Guitar Hero, think of that, but using a touchscreen. The goal here is to tap these scores when they get to a certain area correctly, and there's also special ones that require you to hold a note for a certain amount of time while keeping it on the area, or flicking a note in a certain direction instead of tapping it. If you time it just right, you can keep your combo going until you screw up. Unlike the other rhythm games I played, if you get anything below a great when tapping a note, your combo will be lost. So that means you could tap a note, but if it's deemed too late by the game, you're donezo. Say goodbye to that combo you were working on, baby. Anyways, another thing to mention is that there's a health bar on top of the right over here, and which I assume it matters to your total performance because even if you read 0, you're still in the game, so I assume it's more for performance. Anyways, best to keep it up as high as possible. Anyways, the game has multiple difficulties and it even lets you adjust the speed of the notes or even calibrate the timing. If you want your own personal experience, then go for it. I kept the setting at default and tried the easy difficulty for a few songs, and I was faring pretty well by my standards, so I decided to bump it to medium and... After that disaster of a session, I pretty much said to stick to medium and the default settings because God forbid I tried to play with any of those bumped up. I swear the people who play at higher speeds and difficulties are on just another plane of existence. How do you play this on a goddamn phone? I swear to God, you guys are not human. Anyways, if you perform well enough, you can get some pretty solid rewards, that usually being crystals, to help you get more characters. Well, I had to talk about at some point, the gacha. So, it's a free mobile game. The main way to make the company to make profit is to prioritize these crystals, which means you basically get by playing the game or coughing up money if you're that desperate. The main thing you use this currency for is getting these new characters to your band, which has 5 slots. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to pick and choose your best characters based on abilities and whatnot, maybe even stats, which I think you can also upgrade via completing tasks and challenges, but I honestly just want to play the damn game, and I don't know shit about these characters, so I just randomly make a team, call it a day. Now the way gacha works is that it's basically gambling, but it's legal for underage people at this point. You basically spend your crystals to attempt to get a rare variant of the character, ranging from 2 to 5 stars. Now the teenagers, getting a higher star character must be that good shit, but to someone like me, All that for a JPEG of an e-boy? Aside from playing the game, or shelling out money if you're a desperate idiot, to gamble more, you can also watch ads too. So if you love being shoved with shitty ads for shitty mobile games, and it's your thing, then go for it, I guess. Though, if you do want to get more rewards when playing a song, you can use these energy drinks, which recharge and basically act as multipliers. And seeing as you have to play well to get good rewards, I just don't end up using these at all. Go figure. Forgot to say this, but you can mainly play solo with your team or online with your leader, and for other people too. I tend to usually play online because it feels less depressing, but you can't really communicate with your teammates, so you're forced to use these stickers only. But hold, the feature of communication! Oh, and one last thing. There's these concerts you can attend at various times, each having a unique theme. I was able to catch a Vocaloid one, and to my knowledge, these are pretty much what idol concerts in Japan are. You just have a blocky ass avatar and you know, it's virtual, not in person, so have fun. If you want the idol experience at home, then this is the event for you, I suppose. Just make sure you're alone when you attend them, because you have to move the whole device to look around and, well, you know, you look like a lunatic when you do that. With this being a, you know, rhythm game, songs are pretty much the most important part. And since it's a Vocaloid game, majority of these songs are, well, Vocaloid songs, who would have thought? Most of these aren't really anything to write home about because they aren't really my thing, but I do think they do sound catchy most of the time. The only real problem I have is when there's a song with real singers, and it's common for said song to be a collaboration with a Vocaloid, so it just kind of results in like clashing heavily because you see there's a part sung by the real singers and a part sung by a Vocaloid, and I just don't like it at all.
いらっしゃい、小金。あん。ミクちゃん？それにどうして私の名前？
Honestly, I'd rather just stick to one or the other, but that's just my preference, you know? Like crystals, you basically obtain these songs by playing the game and buying them with tickets or by watching ads, because of course. But you can also be a total cheapo like me and just rely on online matches to play other songs, because good chance there's someone in the lobby who has a shit ton of songs. So, hooray for piggybacking! I don't know how to feel about this game. Graphically, I mean. Starting positively, I love how the worlds you see upon starting this game take on these cutesy visual styles of sorts, and the 2D artwork throughout the entire game is also super detailed and well done, probably because they have a shit ton of money to blow on that, because again, free mobile game. And even though some of the songs have these really nice 3D videos, or even 2D ones, some of them can get a bit distracting, but there's an option to replace them with basically a static image, so that's nice. Some songs are unfortunately just stuck with the static image though, so oh well. But with those talked about, the main issues I have with the presentation comes down to the story mode cutscenes and the performance. Starting with the first one, I did say I didn't really care about this story, sure, but the big reason for this is because the way these characters move during the cutscenes are just uncanny. They really unsettle me a lot. It's like those VTubers you constantly see these days, and I already dislike them to begin with, so this isn't going to be doing me any favors. And as for the other gripe, the presentation, well, it's more so the performance actually. And this is really important when it comes to a rhythm game because it's all about timing, and this game loves to stutter. Granted, I've dealt with far worse in my time, but this was still present enough to just annoy me, you know? I get that it's a mobile game, performance varies depending on device, but shouldn't this sort of thing be tested and fixed? Listen to me, big company, the poorly drawn red guy doesn't even know shit about your Vocaloids. So, this game was way out of my comfort zone, if I haven't made that clear enough. It's not that I minded though, because it's really nice to cover new things for once. Despite being a mobile gacha game, I honestly kinda had fun with this game. Sure, it's got its issue, but if you're just me and you just get this game to play a few songs here and there, then I think you'll find something to enjoy. It's not like you need to spend money to just play the damn game. Those whatever star JPEGs don't mean anything in the long run after all. The truly big flaw is that this game is mobile only, and playing a game like this on a phone? Yeah, no thanks. I only decided to cover this because of getting an iPad recently, and even then it was kinda pain to record footage on this thing. Although, at the time of writing this script, this game is apparently getting a PC port to Steam, so neat. With all that said, if there's one thing I can take away from this game,
Happy Pride Month!